Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, thank you for appearing before us today. We're going to be moving rather quickly today, so I'm going to ask you to focus here. Has the Department of Energy determined whether exporting LNG to our allies around the world is in the public interest? Yes or no?
We're in the middle of a study that
We're in the
is
middle of
updating our assessment of what is in the public
Would that be a
interest.
no?
We're in the middle of updating our
So you have
assessment.
not yet determined.
It will be complete in the first
That
quarter
will be a
of
no,
next year.
ma'am. Please. Let's not effort to filibuster each other. I ask you a simple question. Has the Department of Energy determined whether exporting LNG to our allies around the world is in the public interest?
And I'm answering in a simple way. We are in the middle of updating our assessment.
That would be a no. Have you made the touchdown? Have you got to the end zone? Well, we're working on it.
We're in the middle of
We just
the
got a
play,
first
sir.
down. That would be no. You have not made it to the end zone yet. This is what we're dealing with, Mr. Chairman. We can't get a straight answer out of this administration. We'll see. You're on record today. Why have you issued a long-term ban on export permit approvals prior to determining whether or not exporting LNG is within the public interest?
Number one, we have not issued a ban. Number two, it is not long-term. It is a pause to update our assessment. The assessment will be done by the first quarter of next year.
Why have you issued the ban according to your
It is not a ban.
determination?
It is not a ban, sir.
We're not going to get a straight answer out of you today, are we?
It is
Mr.
not a ban,
Secretary?
sir. That is a
What
straight answer.
statutory, it is a ban. What statutory authority do you claim to have to pause issuing permits? I'll use your language, to pause issuing permits. What statutory authority?
The Natural Gas Act requires that we determine whether authorizations for export of liquefied natural gas are in the public interest. We are determining what is in the public
Precisely. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record what I'm about to read. Citing from Section 3 of the Natural Gas Act, Title 15, U.S. Code 717, Bravo, under Commerce and Trade, exportation of or importation of natural gas, LNG terminals, under paragraph alpha, mandatory authorization order. It says, and I quote, "The Commission shall issue such order upon application unless, after opportunity for hearing, it finds," not trying to find, in the process of finding, talking about finding, writing about finding, it finds that the proposed exportation or importation will not be consistent with the public interest. Mr. Chairman, I ask it to be entered into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
In the Natural Gas Act, as I've just stated, it clearly states that you shall issue permits unless you find that it's not in the public interest, which has not yet happened. And yet you have mandated a pause. You have not issued permits. How can you pause permits and approvals if you've not determined that exporting LNG is or is not in the public interest?
We are updating our assessment to make that exact determination, sir.
Is that your answer?
Yes.
That's your answer. I ask you how.
How? Because the Act
saying you're
says
updating.
unless. The Act
You're
says
updating. I've
unless it's
clearly
in the
stated,
public
ma'am,
interest.
The law requires you. Does the law require you to issue permits
Unless
you have determined that it's not in the public interest?
Correct.
All right. Well, have you determined that it's not in the public interest?
That's why we're doing the
No,
assessment.
you have not.
That's why we're
And
doing the
yet you
assessment,
have-
sir.
And yet you have paused permits. The Obama administration conducted a study in 2014 and 15. During that study, the DOE continued to process non-FTA export authorization applications while updating its studies. You have precedent established by a former Democrat president in your department that states that if you have pending applications that have been completed and are standing by, then you should move forward while you're in the process of not quite getting to the end zone on determining whether or not it's in the public interest. It's clear to me that the American men and women around the country are watching today, and that we recognize that you do not have the authority nor the precedence to take the actions that you have indeed taken. This pause, Mr. Chairman, jeopardizes billions of dollars of interest, American jobs, American families, and a clean, reliable energy source that contributes to our national security and energy security and world security for our allies. This is yet another illegal action by the Biden administration being forced upon we the people. Mr. Chairman, I yield.